Today, we're really pulling back the curtain on something pretty fundamental, right? True emotional satisfaction in our relationships.
Yeah, it's something everyone wants, but it can be, well, elusive.
Exactly. We've all felt that weird disconnect sometimes, like you're speaking different languages of love.
Hmm.
So today, we're aiming to give you, our listeners, a kind of roadmap, cutting through the noise to show how you can connect deeper, regardless of culture or background.
It's not just theory, this is practical stuff.
Right. Think of it as your personal Rosetta Stone for love. We've got psychology-backed strategies, cultural habits, some really compelling real-world stories.
Hmm.
It should reshape how you think about connection. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So when we talk about emotional satisfaction, people often picture, I don't know, big romantic gestures, right? But it's actually much more fundamental, isn't it? What's
Right.
that core idea?
Absolutely, you're right. At its core, it's really not just about those big moments. It's more that profound, kind of consistent sense of feeling seen, safe,
Yeah.
valued, and truly connected.
Seen, safe, valued, connected.
Yeah, it's like that underlying current in the relationship. It tells you, hey, my emotional world matters here. It's respected.
Okay. And what specifically builds that feeling? Because it sounds like you said, it's not just one thing. It's multifaceted.
It definitely is. It really comes down to a few critical components. First, feeling emotionally safe, like safe enough to be your authentic self without fearing judgment. That's huge.
Okay, safety first. Makes sense.
Second, feeling validated. And this is key, even when you disagree. Your feelings are acknowledged, even if your partner doesn't quite, share them or see it the same way.
Validation, even in disagreement. That's a tough one sometimes.
It is. And then finally, just consistently feeling prioritized, like you're chosen, you matter, and you're genuinely understood.
Prioritized, chosen, understood. Got it.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this fundamental need, it's universal. It doesn't matter if you're in Tokyo, Toronto, Timbuktu.
Yeah.
We all crave this. But
That the way we get there.
exactly, the path to achieving it, that can look vastly different depending on your culture.
That's such a crucial point, because if the need is the same, but how it's shown or expected isn't,
Yeah,
well, that's a recipe for friction if you're not aware.
precisely. Misunderstandings waiting to happen.
Yeah, okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. How does emotional care actually look in different places?
Yeah.
Because like you said, what works for one might completely miss the mark for another.
Totally. Let's take the U.S., for example.
Mm.
Often, there's a big emphasis on direct verbal validation. Hearing things like, I'm proud of you, or I love how you handled that situation.
Okay, very explicit. Spoken words matter a lot.
They do. In a culture that often values, individual expression and really clear communication, silence or indirect actions can sometimes be misinterpreted as, well, indifference.
Yeah. Right, so the expectation is for it to be said out loud, but then you shift somewhere like, say, South Asia.
Yeah.
Completely different picture, right?
Completely different. There, it's often expressed much more through acts of service. Think cooking a favorite meal without being asked, bringing tea just at the right moment, or quietly taking over some chores so your partner can rest.
It's about doing rather than saying in that case.
Often, yes. It shows care through action, through anticipating needs.
Okay, and then maybe like France or Italy, we have these stereotypes, but is there truth to them?
Well, there's definitely a different cultural flavor. You often see emotional connection conveyed through more physical affection, maybe more intense eye contact. And yes, sometimes those grander romantic gestures we associate with, European romance.
More tactile, more demonstrative, perhaps.
Exactly. A different palette, as you say.
Yeah.
And then contrast that again with East Asia. There, it often becomes even more subtle.
Subtle how?
It's frequently about consistent, quiet care. Things like always having warm food ready, maintaining predictable daily routines that offer comfort and stability. Small, consistent signs of consideration. These speak volumes without needing grand declarations.
It's like a quiet, steadfast presence showing care.
That's a great way to put it. So the big takeaway here is pretty clear, I think.
Yeah.
To really emotionally satisfy someone, you absolutely need to understand their cultural love map. You can't just assume your way is the only way or the right way.
You have to get curious about their background, basically, where they learn their language of love.
Exactly. It requires that curiosity and willingness to learn their specific dialect, you could say.
Okay, so culture shapes the how, but what about the what? Are there core needs that just cut across all cultures? Because it resonates with me that, relationships often fade not because of some huge betrayal, but just these little unmet needs piling up.
That's so true. The small things add up. And yes, research suggests there are fundamental needs. Let's maybe walk through about 7 of them that are pretty universal. Fulfilling these isn't like extra credit. It's essential.
Okay, 7 universal needs. Let's dive in. The first one you mentioned earlier, to be seen. What does that actually mean in practice beyond just, looking at someone?
Right. It's not just glancing their way. To be seen is about attentive presence, putting the phone down, making eye contact, really creating that space where your partner feels like, for that moment, they're the most important person in the room.
So it's about signaling their importance through attention.
Yes. It says, I acknowledge you, your thoughts, your presence. Like noticing something specific. Hey, I saw you did the dishes even though you were tired. That really meant a lot. It's specific, appreciative seeing.
Okay, specific acknowledgement. And closely tied to that, I imagine, is the need to be heard. How do we make sure someone feels truly heard, not just passively listened to?
Yeah, they're related but distinct.
Hmm.
Being heard involves actively showing you're processing what they're saying, maybe reflecting it back sometimes. So what I'm hearing you say is, or, okay, it sounds like you're feeling frustrated because of X.
Active listening techniques.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It confirms their message landed, that
Yeah.
you're not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Right. Okay, so seen, heard, what's next? You mentioned safety earlier. That feels foundational.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Feeling safe is critical. It means avoiding behaviors that create instability or fear. So no yelling, no stonewalling,
Yeah.
that complete emotional shutdown.
Yeah, the silent treatment.
Right. It also means being somewhat emotionally predictable, not like a ticking time bomb where your partner is always walking on eggshells. Consistency builds that safety.
Emotional predictability. That's a big one. Okay, safety. Then what about recognition? Feeling valued.
hmm To be valued. This is expressed through genuine compliments, yes, but also really appreciating their effort, their hard work, both in the relationship and just as a person in the world.
Yeah.
Recognizing their contributions, their inherent worth.
Okay. Now, life gets crazy busy for everyone. How does the need to feel priority fit in? It seems tough to manage sometimes.
It does require conscious effort, definitely.
Yeah.
Feeling like a priority means actually scheduling time together, even amidst the chaos. It doesn't have to be hours. Small check-ins, a quick text saying thinking of you, a spontaneous coffee date. These micro moments signal they're important enough to make time for.
Making space for them intentionally. Okay. Number 6.
To feel desired. And this is a bit different from just general love or affection, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it feels more specific, like attraction, spark.
Exactly. It's about maintaining both physical and emotional intimacy. It's the flirting, the playful touch, holding hands, maybe that smile across a crowded room. It's
Yeah.
about keeping that specific sense of attraction alive. Appreciation isn't just love, it's also desire.
Keeping the spark alive. Vital. Okay, and the last one. To feel understood. This sounds like it kind of wraps everything else together.
It really does tie them together. Feeling understood means going deeper. It requires learning about your partner's unique attachment style. Are they anxious, needing more reassurance? Are they avoidant, needing a bit more space sometimes? Or are they secure?
Knowing their specific emotional wiring?
Precisely. And then asking specific, thoughtful questions based on that understanding.
That's
Not assuming you know what they need. Asking what helps you feel better when you're upset. Or what can I do for you right now? It shows you're invested in their unique emotional landscape.
wow. Okay, those 7. Seen, heard, safe, valued, priority, desired, understood. It's clear meeting these is, well, fundamental, not optional.
Absolutely.
But so many couples struggle. It sounds like maybe they're just not aware of the things that actively kill this satisfaction. Most people aren't intentionally cruel, right? They're just unaware.
That's often the case. They're unaware of these common pitfalls, these killers, as you called them. They don't mean to cause harm, but the impact is erosion over time.
So what are some of these common killers? I know interrupting or jumping to defend yourself before you even hear your partner. That's a big one, I see.
A huge one. And another is ignoring what psychologists call emotional bids.
Emotional bids, explain that. What does that look like?
An emotional bid is basically any attempt your partner makes to connect. It can be super subtle, a sigh, a quick glance, a seemingly casual comment like, wow, work was rough today.
Ah, so it's not always a direct request.
Rarely. It's often an underlying I need connection or pay attention to me wrapped in something else. Missing those bids consistently makes your partner feel invisible, unheard, devastating over time.
Man, those are easy to miss if you're not paying attention. I've definitely been guilty of the over-logical reply, too. Trying to fix it when all they wanted was empathy.
Oh, the fix-it response,
Yeah.
yes. Very common, especially when someone shares something emotional, saying you're overthinking it or just calm down instead of tell me more or wow, that sounds really tough. It shuts them down completely.
Right. And what about that assumption that, love is obvious? Like, I don't need to say it, they should just know.
Another classic satisfaction killer. Assuming love doesn't need explicit, ongoing expression is a major trap. We all need reassurance. And honestly, this stuff matters more than ever. We're seeing data suggesting that, going into 2025, emotional laziness is increasingly cited as a reason for breakups.
Emotional laziness. Wow, that's a stark term.
It is. It's a reality check that putting the emotional effort, being aware, it's not optional anymore for relationship health. It really raises the question for everyone listening. How are you showing up emotionally?
That's powerful. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. People can fix this. Let's look at some hope. You mentioned real-world examples, a Canadian couple and a Pakistani couple who turned things around.
Yes, great examples of navigating these challenges. Let's start with the Canadian couple. This was a love marriage, and they found themselves just drifting, increasing emotional distance, that slow fade feeling.
Okay, the slow fade. How did they stop it?
Their solution was actually pretty simple, but powerful. They started doing weekly emotion check-ins, not like formal therapy, just dedicated time to ask, how are you feeling really? How are we doing?
Just creating the space.
Exactly. And crucially, they practiced validating each other without jumping to fix the problem. Using phrases like, okay, I hear you, that sounds really overwhelming, or I can see why you'd feel that way.
So listening to understand, not necessarily to solve immediately. And the result,
Their emotional closeness was basically restored. They learned to bridge that gap simply by being intentional, creating that space, and prioritizing validation.
that's fantastic. Okay, now the Pakistani couple. An arranged marriage, which often comes with different cultural starting points and expectations around affection.
Definitely different dynamics. Their struggle was around expressing affection in ways that actually landed for both of them. The wife needed more verbal support, more emotional reassurance. The husband, very caring, primarily showed it through financial support and providing security, which is a strong cultural expression of care there.
Ah, so a mismatch in love languages, amplified by cultural norms, perhaps.
Precisely. His language wasn't filling her tank, so to speak, and he likely felt unappreciated for his efforts. It led to misunderstandings.
So how did they bridge that gap, especially with potentially deep-seated cultural habits?
It took conscious effort. They had to learn to meet in the middle. He started making a point to offer more verbal appreciation and emotional support, even if it felt less natural initially. She learned to recognize and appreciate his acts of service as expressions of care, too.
So they both stretched a bit, learned each other's language.
They did. They actively worked on expressing appreciation in ways the other could receive, moving beyond just their default modes. And the result was significant less conflict, much more warmth and intimacy. Both felt seen and understood, finally.
That's incredible. So the common thread, different cultures, different marriage types.
Yeah.
But both couples found satisfaction by first gaining awareness of the disconnect and the needs,
Yes, awareness first.
and then consciously choosing to respond differently, to adapt.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Emotional satisfaction isn't some mystical mind-reading ability. It's about choosing daily to understand and respond to your partner's emotional world. It's an ongoing practice, a continuous tuning in.
A continuous conversation, really. Well, we've covered a tremendous amount today. Those universal needs, how culture shapes expression, common mistakes. As everyone listening reflects on this deep dive, maybe consider this.
Yeah.
We all have unique emotional fingerprints, right? Our own specific triggers for feeling connected. So think about it. What's one specific thing, maybe a small gesture, a certain phrase, a particular action? What's one thing that makes you feel profoundly seen, safe, valued, and connected in your relationships?
That's a great question for reflection.
Something just for you to mull over, maybe explore on your own. What truly fills your emotional tank?